Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Raw results and WWE main event for July the 16th, 2018. Birthdays: Hurricane Helms was born in 1974 on July the 12th. Also Sami Zayn, he was born in 1984. Brock Lesnar, 1977. X-Pac was born July 13th, 1972. On the 14th, Double J. Jeff Jarrett was born in 1967. Also on the 14th, Bubba Ray Dudley. He was born in 1971. Charlie Caruso was born in 1987. Heath Slater, 1983 on the 15th. Also on the 15th, Jesse the Body Ventura. He was born in 1951. The Boogeyman, coming to get you. He was born in 1964. And rounding out birthdays on the 16th, Bobby Lashley, 1976. Independent Wrestling: Virgil Flynn has passed away due to a stroke at the age of 33. He was a 13-year veteran who worked for several indie promotions such as APW, Supreme Pro Wrestling, and Hood Slam. And all that can be on that. Most of his action like that. Flynn made his Global Force Wrestling debut at GFW Amped on July 24, 2015. He then appeared at 3 GFW TV tapings in Las Vegas, where he made it to the finals for the GFW Next Gen title tournament. Whatever happened to that? Flynn had several titles throughout his career, including the BOTW West Coast Champion, which held for 494 days until his passing. My condolences go to him and his family and friends. He is remembered for his passion for the business and how good of a friend he was to those close to him. At this time, our thoughts and prayers go out to Flynn's family, friends, and also fans as they deal with their difficult and unexpected loss. Going in Raw podcast by Real Going in Raw, our statement on the passing of Virgil Flynn at OG Kevin Gill. Very sad to learn of the passing of an incredible person and an incredible performer. My thoughts are with the family of Virgil Flynn III. Impact UK and Ireland at Impact on Spike. We are saddened to hear about the sudden passing of Virgil Flynn. Our hearts and thoughts are with his young family at this incredible sad time. Hashtag RIP. Sienna's profile was moved from the alumni section on Impact Wrestling. As Square Circle Sirens is reporting that her contract expired while she was injured and she did not resign with the company. She was hospitalized at Impact tapings this past January and hasn't wrestled since. She revealed that she had a blood clot in each of her lungs. Former two-time TNA Knockout Tag Team Champion Ayako Hamada has been sentenced to 18 months in prison over drug charges, according to Yahoo Japan. Hamada, the 37-year-old daughter of the legendary Grand Hamada, was arrested at home in Tokyo back on May 13th. This led to her Pro Wrestling Wave departure and Sendai Girls Pro Wrestling stripping of their world title. Police were called to Hamada's home back in May after she told a promoter that she would miss their event because she was being held at knife point by someone. Police found Hamada acting strange, and that led to her testing positive for drugs. She admitted to taking drugs through her nose. Probably cocaine. The reviews have been mostly positive regarding Ronda Rousey's WWE stint, while she started to receive jeers following her Royal Rumble debut due to not frequently appearing. Fans quickly turned them to cheers leading up to her match alongside Kurt Angle against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon at WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans. Since then, Rousey has received a very positive ovation from the crowds all across the country. Her husband, Travis Browne, was recently at Extreme Rules with Rousey and was shown on TV when Rousey was walking to her seat and when she jumped over the barrier to attack Mickie James. The 6'7", 243-pound UFC fighter was recently interviewed by TMZ and showed interest of teaming up with his wife. Although he is still under contract with UFC at the moment, a WWE career could be on the horizon, and he is training was training recently at the Performance Center with his wife Ronda. I'll never say no, but we'll have to see. Really, Browne said, this is Ronda's time in WWE. She's killing it. She's taking over the world. She took over the UFC. She's taking over the WWE. She's going to continue to do whatever she wants to do. I'll never say no to the possibility of going out there and wrestling. I'd love to go out there and work with my wife. That'd be so much fun. A mixed match? Oh yeah. That was her at WrestleMania. It'd be fun. I wouldn't say no. Regarding whether Browne would like to see his wife return to the octagon, he responded, I love seeing her happy. And I've never seen her more happy than right now. So she's really enjoying what she does. And I wouldn't change that for the world. Based on the events that occurred on Raw, Rousey will be competing for the Raw Women's Championship once again against Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam. This will be Rousey's second singles match and the third match overall. Both of her singles matches have been for the Raw Women's Championship, with her first one being against Nia Jax at Money in the Bank. As noted, former UFC heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez was also at last night's WWE NXT tapings after working with talents at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando earlier in the week. Here's a new video here of Cain talking to the WWE cameras about pro wrestling and working with talents at the Performance Center, including NXT Tag Team Champion Roderick Strong. And yes, he has signed a deal with WWE. WWE did an injury angle with Team Hell No at Extreme Rules because Cain has been suffering from a legitimate injury to his left foot. WWE later announced that Cain suffered a broken ankle in the attack from SmackDown champions, the Bludgeon Brothers, at Extreme Rules. In an update on Cain's status, PW Insider reports that he suffered an injury to Achilles tendon on the Extreme Rules Go Home edition of SmackDown this past Tuesday. This is why Cain was wearing the walking boot earlier in the day before Extreme Rules. No word yet on exactly when Cain suffered the injury during the show, but the Go Home SmackDown show featured he and Daniel Bryan brawling with Rowan, Harper, and Sanity, which set up a 10-man main event. Team Hell No teaming with the New Day to defeat Sanity and the Bludgeon Brothers. Cain is not expected to be back on TV anytime soon, as he's preparing for the final push of his campaign to become the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee this fall. Lana is the latest WWE superstar to call out an airline on Twitter. She wrote the following to Delta this morning. CJ Lana Perry at Lana WWE. On Twitter, here we go, at Delta again. The supervisor lied to me. The app is down, and no one at Delta wants to take the responsibility and help fix the problem. Just continuing to be a very poor airline with very bad customer service. Charlotte Flair recently took part in ESPN's magazine body issue. She was in her full birthday suit in the ring for the photo shoot, with nothing covering her except the ring itself and the angles the photographer used. Flair recently spoke to Instinct Culture by Denise Salcedo at the Sports Humanitarian Awards, where she discussed what it was like to be a part of the shoot. And yes, I have seen the pictures, and the ring ropes cover her body parts that nobody wants you to see. But use your imagination, and you can go to this link. Okay, so I got a black eye at WrestleMania, Flair said. I was like, of course, I would get a black eye before the body shoot, but I actually think it made it that much more raw and real and natural. And it really goes to show that what we do with superstars isn't fake. Like I walk around with my battle scars all the time. I was really nervous at first, but after an hour, I was like, I'm in the ESPN body issue. As the first WWE superstar, I'm going to rock it. Hall of Famer Goldberg drove a Toyota Tundra at the annual Goodwood Festival of Speed in England last Friday. As seen in this video, of course, Goldberg didn't win because he crashed the truck into a hay bale on the side of the track. So he didn't even finish the race. There were rumors over the weekend that Daniel Bryan may have re-signed with WWE. Bryan's contract with the company expires September 1st. Dave Meltzer, a Wrestling Observer, noted on Twitter that nothing has changed regarding Bryan's status, and he has still not signed a new deal with the company. At Dave Meltzer, WON, Daniel Bryan hasn't signed. Nothing has changed. Hall of Famer Ric Flair has been released from the hospital after ongoing successful intestinal surgery back on July 9th. Charlotte confirmed that to the WWE website after the operation that the surgery was rooted in the health issues that Rick experienced last fall. The Nature Boy tweeted the following post-surgery update today. At Ric Flair Nature Boy. Thank you to all the staff at Gwinnett Medical Center for the excellent care during my stay. I was so lucky to be in the hands of an amazing surgeon, Dr. James Elsey. Truly grateful for everything. The Nate is back up and running. At Gwinnett Medical. MLW Company, Major League Wrestling, announced that former WWE stars Simon Gotch and Jack Swagger, real name Jake Hager, which is using will clash at Thursday's MLW Battle Riot event at Melrose Ballroom in Queens, New York. Hager is managed by Colonel Robert Parker, who will be available for the meet and greet for all tickets holders prior to the bell time. Tickets for the events are available at the MLW website. Also, the card for Thursday's show, 40-man battle riot, not a rumble, riot. Participants were announced for the event. Filthy Tom Lawler, John Hennigan, who is in GFW Impact, Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan, Jimmy Havoc, ACH, Davey Boy Smith Jr., Teddy Hart, Rich Swann, Pentagon Jr., Jimmy Utah, Low Key, Brody King, Jake Hager, Swoggle, that's Hornswoggle, Lance Anoy, PCO, Pierre Carl Owlette, formerly of WWE, one of the Canadian tag teams, Conan, Joey Ryan, Sammy Callahan, Jason Cade, MJF, Ray Phoenix, Head Trigger Samu, Kodo, Brazil, Aerostar, Drago, Simon Gotch, Homicide, Vandal, Ortegon, Dirty Blondes, and more to be announced. As I also have the results, the other matches are World Heavyweight Title fight, Shane the Swerve Strickland versus Sammy Callahan. World Tag Team Title match, Pentagon Jr. and Ray Phoenix versus Triple A's Drago and Aerostar. Title fight to determine the first World Middleweight Championship, Joey Ryan versus MJF. John Hennigan versus Low Key. Hart Foundation of Teddy Hart and David Boy Smith Jr. with Brian Pillman II. Versus Rich Swann and ACH. Jimmy Havoc versus Brody King. PCO versus Homicide. Jake Hager versus Simon Gotch. Kodo Brazil versus Myron Reed. CNN and Rebel have been moved to the Illinois section of Impact Wrestling. So, already told you about one wrestler being removed. And now we got two, Sienna and Rebel, two more. This says that they're no longer with the company. Tried to contact Impact for confirmation, but nothing yet. But once I do receive it, I'll let you know. Impact announced on Twitter that the tickets for Sunday's Slammiversary pay-per-view are sold out. The event takes place from the Rebel Entertainment Complex in Toronto. Tommaso Ciampa defeated Aleister Black to win the NXT World Championship at the NXT TV tapings at Full Sail University. Match will air next week on the WWE Network. The end of the match saw the referee get knocked down. Johnny Gargano ran in and hit Ciampa with a super kick and then nailed Black with a belt. Ciampa then recovered and threw Gargano out of the ring and nailed Black with the Angel's wings to win the title. WWE posted the following regarding the title change. Tommaso Ciampa defeated Aleister Black to win the NXT Championship at the tapings at Full Sail live in Orlando. With the win, Ciampa becomes the 14th superstar in history to win the NXT title. See how the Blackheart prevailed against the Dutch Destroyer. Win their championship showdown streams on the award-winning WWE Network next Wednesday. Taped on July 18th. Photos of Ciampa celebrating with his newly won gold and video of him winning it. Team Vision Dojo congratulates Ciampa on Twitter by saying, "Congratulations at Project Ciampa. Hashtag new NXT champ. Hashtag NXT FS Live." And also at that link. Kairi Sane versus NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler is the first official match for TakeOver Brooklyn 4. During the SummerSlam weekend, Sane won a triple threat over Candice LeRae and Nikki Cross on tonight's show to become the number one contender. The dark match before NXT tapings at Full Sail saw Jeet Rama defeat Chase Adams. By the way, I did not find the results for that. The results for the MLW. Thanks to Tara for texting the following NXT spoilers from Full Sail University at Winter Park, Florida, which I've been there because I competed in a Team USA for bowling tryout. I finished 17 out of 300 and something bowlers. My brother also had a tryout as well, and he did fairly well for his division, but he didn't get as far up as I did. Okay, back to the NXT results. Spoilers. July 25th episode. NXT North American Champion Adam Cole defeated Sean Maluda. After the match, Cole cut a promo, but his interrupted by Ricochet. Ricochet wants a title shot at TakeOver Brooklyn 4, but Cole turned him down. They had words until NXT Tag Team Champion Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly came out to intimidate Ricochet. The War Raiders are out next to even up the odds. Undisputed Era tries to retreat, but they are then attacked by Trent Seven and Tyler Bate. Lacey Evans defeated Chanela Price. Heavy Machinery defeated the Mighty Dew to a distraction from the Street Profits. Tyler Bate and Trent Seven defeated State Line Enhancement Talents. Probably two police officers, kind of like WCW with Buddy Lee Parker and another wrestler. Mustache Mountain issued a challenge to the Undisputed Era for the titles in Brooklyn. EC3 defeated Kona Reeves. The Velveteen Dream came out with a mic during the match to try to distract EC3, but did not work. August the 1st episode, NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler defeated Candice LeRae in a non-title match. After the match, Baszler attacked Candice, but Kairi Sane made a save. Baszler hit Sane with a cheap shot and then left. Tommaso Ciampa defeated Alex Black to win the NXT title. This match should air on the last NXT episode of June. And to finish, saw the referee take a bump before Johnny Gargano ran out. Gargano then attacked Ciampa and Black, but Ciampa recovered first and pinned Black for the title. Nikki Cross defeated Amber Nova. Ricochet headed to the ring when the Undisputed Era attacked him on the stage. NXT North American Champion Adam Cole says he's not a coward and then accepted the challenge for TakeOver Brooklyn 4. Cassius Ohno defeated Adrian Zhao. August the 8th episode, Keith Lee defeats Marcel Barthel. Taynara Conti defeated Vanessa Bourne in a Mae Young Classic qualifying match. So there's your first match announced. Street Profits defeated the Mighty. New NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa came to the ring and says NXT now belongs to him. He gets a major heel heat from ripping an older lady in the front row and taking shots at Johnny Gargano. Aleister Black comes out to attack, but Gargano runs out past Black and nails Ciampa first. Gargano then cut a quick promo on Ciampa as he retreated with the title. Gargano takes the blame for Ciampa being champion, and Black says the same thing. Black then drops Gargano out of nowhere with a black mask kick. Gargano got some boos at one point, and then you deserve a chant after the kick. August 15th episode. Kairi Sane defeats Aliyah. Sane hit 3 straight top rope elbow drops before getting a submission win, sending a message to NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler when she was on commentary. Tyler Bate defeated NXT Champion Roderick Strong. Velveteen Dream came out and cut a promo on EC3 as EC3 came out to confront Dream and ends the segment by hitting him with the 1%er. Johnny Gargano versus Aleister Black is next for the main event as NXT Champion Tommaso Ciampa interfered and attacked both of them for no contest. General Manager William Regal returned and announced a triple threat for TakeOver Brooklyn 4. Gargano versus Black versus Ciampa with the title on the line was announced. And from Buffalo, New York, in this week's main event episode, No Way Jose defeats Kurt Hawkins. The Revival and Mike Kanellis defeated Chad Gable, Rhino, and Heath Slater. Raw opened up with a graphic memory of former WWE Tag Team Champion Masa Saito, who passed away at the age of 76 this past weekend, which I did not find any results on that until I'm reading this to y'all on the results. Live from the KeyBank Arena in Buffalo, New York, as Michael Coleslaw welcomes us, and he's joined in by tattooed artist Corey Graves and Jonathan Coachman, your ESPN specialist. Raw General Manager Kurt Angle is waiting in the ring as his music plays. And Angle thanks everyone who competed at Extreme Rules last night and says he's proud of the dedication. Angle says one superstar who was not shown the same is the WWE Universal Champion Brock Lesnar. Some fans boo. Angle talks about the ultimatum he issued Lesnar, and fans cheer when he mentions possibly stripping Lesnar of the title. Angle says he's serious. Angle says he hasn't heard from Lesnar or his representatives in 24 hours, so he's now stripping Lesnar of the title. Fans pop, but we hear Paul Heyman's voice. Heyman appears on the stage to a mixed reaction. Heyman introduces himself, but Angle cuts him off and says Heyman is wasting his time unless Lesnar is coming out. Heyman acts like he's about to introduce Lesnar, but then says his client is not here. Angle says Heyman leaves him no choice. He is stripping Lesnar. And the crowd is going wild on this. Heyman screams in protest again as he enters the ring. With all due respect, Heyman thinks Angle and the entire WWE Universe has it all wrong. Heyman goes on and says people think Lesnar is only focused on his UFC's future, but that's not true, as Lesnar loves being in WWE, loves being the Universal Champion. Angle asks why the hell doesn't Lesnar show up then? Heyman says Lesnar wants to represent the entire WWE Universe and challenge for the UFC heavyweight title with the Universal title around his waist. But that would mean he would keep the belt until January 2019. As fans boo, Heyman says Lesnar becomes UFC heavyweight champion next time. He does it representing WWE as the Universal Champion, as a two-sport champion. And he did that same thing on later. Spoiler. Angle says more power to Lesnar when it comes to the goal, but he's going to keep it simple. The KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Lesnar will defend the title at SummerSlam, or he's no longer champion. The fans continue to chant for Angle to take the title. Angle tells Heyman to give him an answer. Heyman gives Angle for his negotiation skills and says Lesnar will defend the title at SummerSlam. Heyman congratulates us all on behalf of his client for speaking up and getting more Lesnar. Heyman goes on with a promo, and now it's up to Angle to find out who will be beaten, victimized, and conquered by Lesnar at SummerSlam. Music interrupts. Heyman's closing line, and out comes Bobby Lashley. Lashley says he had two goals in his mind when he came back to WWE. He met the first by defeating Roman Reigns in Extreme Rules. Now it's time to accomplish the other. Lashley stares at Heyman and backs him into the corner a bit. Lashley says the other goal is to beat Lesnar and take the title. The music hits and out comes Drew McIntyre next. McIntyre says he didn't come back to help the roster or stand in Dolph Ziggler's corner. Phase 1 was to get the WWE Continental title around Ziggler's waist, and now it's time for Phase 2. Fan chant yes. As McIntyre enters the ring now, the Universal title, the music interrupts again, and out comes Seth Rollins. Rollins then enters the ring and gets in McIntyre's face as fans do the burn it down chant. Rollins says if Angle is looking for an opponent for Lesnar, he's here. Out next comes Elias with his guitar. Elias in his ring while talking and says his debut album drops next week. Elias says Angle should ride that success and book him against Lesnar at SummerSlam. Finn Balor was out next as his music hits. Balor points out how he was the first Universal Champion and says it only makes sense that it should be Balor versus Lesnar. Roman comes out next to a loud mixed reaction. Reigns slowly marches to the ring as Lashley and others look on. Reigns says he doesn't have any excuses, but doesn't give a darn about Lesnar. All he wants is to fight someone tonight. Angle says they are all deserving to be out here. He announces two triple threats tonight. The winners will all face each other next week to determine Lesnar's SummerSlam opponent. It will be Elias versus Rollins versus Lashley, Reigns versus Balor versus McIntyre, which starts now. All 6 superstars face off in the ring as Angle's music hits. We go to commercial. Back for the break, the Constable Baron Corbin confronts Kurt Angle backstage. Corbin isn't happy about the triple threats and wonders if Angle even got the matches approved. Angle didn't think he had to. Corbin asks why Angle didn't put him in one of the matches, and Angle says he didn't deserve it. Which I agree. Number 1 contender triple threat. First match, Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre. We go to the ring. Drew McIntyre's out first, Roman Reigns, and then Finn Balor all facing off. The bell rings and they all go at it. Back and forth early on in the match. Balor drop kicks McIntyre. Reigns clotheslines McIntyre over the top. Balor sends Reigns over the top to the floor. Balor runs the ropes and hits a big dive, taking out Reigns and McIntyre both on the floor. McIntyre turns around on Balor in the ring. Reigns comes in, but Drew nails a belly-to-belly throw for a 2 count. More back and forth now. As McIntyre goes back to work on Reigns and nails a suplex for a 2 count. McIntyre works Balor over in the corners. McIntyre turns back to Reigns and drops him with the right hand for another 2 count. McIntyre then mounts Reigns with strikes, keeping him down as the referee warns him. Of course, you got a rope break. McIntyre knocks Balor off the apron and into the barrier. McIntyre then takes the time in the ring and stalks Reigns while he's down. McIntyre with a neck breaker for a 2 count on Reigns. We go to commercial. Back from the break, McIntyre is beating on Reigns in the corner, and then McIntyre nails Balor on the floor and brings him back in the ring. McIntyre keeps Reigns and Balor down with boots. Reigns turns around on McIntyre. Balor drops Reigns with a forearm. And it's all everybody for themselves now. Reigns drops Balor with a big clothesline. Balor and Reigns end up on the floor. McIntyre runs the ropes and nails a huge dive, taking out Reigns on the floor. Balor runs over and pushes McIntyre's shoulder first and then still steps. Balor runs the apron and nails a stomp to the back of the neck. Balor then brings it back into the ring with Reigns and nails a double stomp for a 2 count. Balor ends up going to the top after more back and forth. Balor looks to hit the coup de grace on Reigns, but Drew comes in for the save and hits Balor with a steel chair, which is legal under triple threat rules. Balor lands hard. McIntyre comes in on Reigns with a chair, but Reigns turns it around and strikes in the corner. Reigns then goes shoulder first into the ring post as McIntyre counters. McIntyre covers for a 2 count as we go to another commercial. Back for the commercial, and Reigns unloads on McIntyre. Reigns calls for a Superman punch, but Drew blocks it and nails a spine buster for a 2 count. Balor runs in and hits Drew with a steel chair from behind. Balor unloads on Reigns with the chair now as the fans pop. Balor runs outside of the ring and drop kicks Drew into the barrier. Reigns runs over and Balor moves, but Reigns hits a spear on Drew and into the barrier. Balor then nails a sling blade on Reigns. Balor brings Reigns in the ring. Balor goes for another sling blade to Reigns. goes for another, but Reigns hits Superman punch. Balor kicks out at 2. Reigns talks to himself and shakes the ropes now as some fans boo. As he's warring up, you know how the Ultimate Warrior did. Reigns calls for a spear, but Balor kicks him in the head. Balor kicks Reigns in the corner. Balor goes to the top and hits the coup de grace. But as the fans are cheering Balor on, but Drew breaks the pin by pulling Balor out of the ring. Drew beats up Balor on the outside, sends him to the steel steps. Drew returns to the ring and gets hyped up as Balor recovers. Reigns does a Superman punch on Drew. Balor rolls Reigns up for a 2. Balor reaches Superman punch. Drew with a glass cow kiss to Reigns. Reigns dodges a Claymore kick, but it hits Balor. Reigns with a Superman punch to Drew to knock him out of the ring. And then Reigns hits a spear on Balor for the pin and gets a spot for next week's match for the number 1 contender. After the match, Reigns recovers, and as his music plays, we go to replays. Reigns stands tall as the others are still down. Bayley is backstage as they cut the backstage segment, waiting for Kurt Angle in his office. Angle walks in and says Sasha Banks is holed up in her locker room. Bayley says that's typical of her. Angle asks about the counseling session and Bayley says it didn't go well. It just didn't work. This is hard for Bayley to say, but she doesn't think she and Banks will ever be together again. Angle announces Bayley and Banks versus Alicia Fox and Dana Brooke for later. Bayley doesn't think that it's a good idea. Angle says that they are valuable together, and one of them will be traded to SmackDown if they can't get along. We see Dolph Ziggler backstage with his title match commercial. Back from the break, out comes Intercontinental Champion Dolph as JoJo does the ring introductions. Ziggler says all he did at Extreme Rules was what he said he was going to do. He put on an absolute clinic. Ziggler tells Robert Downey to move over because he is now Iron Man. Ziggler goes on and says something special happened last night. The WWE Intercontinental title main event. It evented a pay-per-view for the first time in 17 years. And that wasn't because of Seth Rollins. Ziggler says he doesn't respect what Rollins did to make the title what it is today, but he's no Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler says he beat Rollins 5 times. The music interrupts. Out comes Bobby Roode. Roode takes the mic and says Ziggler wouldn't be out here bragging if it wasn't for Drew McIntyre. Roode says Ziggler should be bowing down to McIntyre because if it weren't for him, he'd be telling bad jokes in some comedy club. Ziggler asks Roode how it was watching last night's show from the sidelines. Roode says the sidelines suck, and that's why he's out here tonight to challenge Ziggler for the title right now. They have some words, and Ziggler agrees to the match. Ziggler then calls for a referee, and here he comes. Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler. JoJo announces this is a title match, but Ziggler interrupted her. He didn't agree to it. Ziggler says Roode could have a match, but it's not going to be for the title. Ziggler calls for the bell. They lock up and go at it. Roode catches Ziggler with a big hip toss, takes him down with a headlock. Roode keeps Ziggler grounded. Ziggler takes it to the corner as the referee warns him. Ziggler then takes Roode down to the mat now. As Ziggler keeps Roode grounded, Roode fights up and drops Ziggler with a shoulder off the apron. Roode then sends Ziggler out of the ring as he lands hard on the floor. Ziggler slowly gets up to the apron, but Roode comes out and slams him into the barrier. Roode brings Ziggler back into the ring. Ziggler pleads as Roode approaches. Ziggler pulls Roode in and tosses him to the floor. Ziggler then brings him back in and connects with a shot to the face for a 2 count. Ziggler keeps Roode grounded again. Ziggler with more kicks and more strikes before driving Roode to the mat for a close 2 count. Roode blocks a shot and fights out of the corner. Roode with a big clothesline out of the corner as Ziggler pulls Roode face first into the turnbuckles and tries to turn it around as we go to a commercial. More back and forth after the commercial. Roode tries some mild offense and catches Ziggler in the sidewalk slam. Roode with a splash in the corner. Ziggler blocks a bulldog. Roode keeps control and hits a blockbuster from the second rope. Roode gets the crowd behind him, but Ziggler blocks the glorious DDT with a roll up for a 2 count. Roode avoids the famouser, the trade counters and pin attempts. Ziggler blocks the glorious DDT again and hits the zigzag for a close 2 count. Ziggler cranks up the band in the corner, HBK style. As Rude tries to get to his feet, Rude catches a super kick, launches Ziggler into the corner. Rude then nails his setup spine buster in a close pin attempt. More back and forth again. Rude blocks another zigzag attempt and nails Ziggler in the nose. Rude lands bad on his knee and goes on to take a super kick to the jaw. Ziggler covers for the pinfall. After the match, Ziggler takes the title and leaves the ring as his music plays. Now, announcers then go over what happened earlier tonight with Angle, Heyman, and 6 superstars. We also get a look at Reigns winning the first triple threat to advance to next week's #1 contender match. Rollins versus Elias versus Lashley is still to come. We see Lashley backstage warming up. Lashley says, people say the Beast fears no man, but the Beast has never faced anyone like him. Lashley goes on about SummerSlam and says he will become Universal Champion as we go to commercial. Back from the commercial, Mojo Rawley approaches Bobby Lashley backstage. Clapping at him, Mojo says Rude is supposed to be glorious. Mojo stares Rude down and walks off. Tyler Breeze versus Mojo was up next. And we get Tyler Breeze waiting in the ring. Coleslaw mentions how Fandango is recovering from successful shoulder surgery as Mojo was out next. The bell rings and Mojo immediately rams Breeze into the corner and goes to work him over. Mojo scoops Breeze, but he slides out and hits a drop kick. Breeze then sends Mojo out to the floor. Breeze follows, but Mojo levels him on the outside. Mojo brings him back to the ring for a 2 count, and then another 2 count. Mojo keeps Breeze grounded in the middle of the ring. That's Fandu dueling chance. Mojo with more offense and another pin attempt before Breeze gets grounded again. Mojo talks trash while Breeze is down. Breeze looks to turn it around for a moment, but Mojo charges, but Breeze moves and Mojo goes out to the floor. Mojo then runs right back in and ducks Breeze. Mojo hits the ropes again and then knocks Breeze out of the air. Mojo charges into the corner again and hits the big lights out right hand. Mojo follows up with the Alabama Slam for the win. After the match, Mojo stands tall. As we go to replays, Mojo celebrates as the music plays. Then we see Sasha and Bayley backstage walking. Back to commercial. Dana Brooke and Alicia Fox versus Sasha Banks and Bayley. Back from the break, Alicia Fox was wrapping up her entrance with Dana. This is Fox's first TV match since suffering her injury earlier this year. Bayley was out next. Sasha was out next to join Bayley in the ring. Fox and Bayley go at it back and forth. Bayley with an early pin attempt. Fox ends up leveling Bayley with a big boot for a 2 count. Dana then tags in and drops Bayley with a springboard elbow. Dana with more offense and a shot to Banks, knocking her off the apron. Dana turns around to Bayley, making a comeback. Bayley unloads and Dana knocks Fox off the apron. Bayley looks to put Dana away, but Dana nails a big clothesline out of the corner. Dana then sends Bayley out of the ring to the floor as Fox attacks Bayley at ringside, but Banks comes over for the save. Banks ends up dropping Fox off the apron. Banks rams Dana back into the announce table, and then goes back to work on Fox. Banks nails a crossbody from the apron, taking Fox and Dana down on the floor as the referee counts them all out. And it's ruled a double count out. After the bell, Banks walks away and goes straight to the back while Bayley recovers at ringside. Still to come segment, Elias versus Rollins versus Lashley. Also a look at Braun Strowman tossing Kevin Owens under Extreme Rules. Back to commercial. We come back and see Sasha Banks talking to Bayley in the back. Things barely get heated, but Banks says she loves Bayley and always has. There, I said it, Banks said before walking off. The announcers show us stills for the steel cage match between Braun and Kevin Owens at Extreme Rules. Renee was backstage with Braun, asking if he has any regrets for what he did to Owens. Braun says he does regret. He regrets he didn't have the chance to congratulate Owens on the win last night. Renee asked Braun why he didn't step up for one of the triple threat matches to face Brock Lesnar. Braun raises his Money in the Bank briefcase and says because he has this. Braun says he has a title shot and can use it at any time he wants. We go to the ring. Out comes new Raw Tag Team Champion Kurt Axel Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas, the B team. They celebrate their title win as we go to commercial. And we get the B team versus the Ascension in their first title defense. Back from the break, the match is underway as Ascension is out. Dallas unloaded on Connor in the corner and plays to the crowd. Then we see the Revival backstage watching it's a non-title match. Axel tags in and keeps the attack going on Connor. Axel drops Connor and keeps him grounded. Connor kicks Axel away and tags in Victor. Dallas also tags in, but Victor takes control. Victor with a big flying elbow. In the corner, Victor ends up going to the top and hitting flying knee for a 2 count as Axel breaks at the pinfall. Connor rocks Axel and sends him out to the apron. Axel dumps Connor over the top to the floor. Axel tags in and hits the double team neckbreaker on Victor for the pinfall. After the match, Axel and Dallas stand tall with their titles. The celebration is interrupted by former champions, the leaders of the world, on the big screen. They tell the B team to enjoy their victory because the fun won't last. They will get their rematch next week and will take back what is rightfully theirs. Axel and Dallas shall be deleted forever next week. Then we see pictures of Ronda Rousey, Nia Jax, Mickie James, Natalya, and World Women's Champion Alexa Bliss at Extreme Rules. We see Bliss and Mickie walking backstage as we go to commercial. Back from the ring, out comes Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss with Mickie. Bliss brags on retaining over Nia at Extreme Rules and how she's dominating the women's division for so long. Bliss says it wasn't hard to outsmart Jax last night, and she can now officially say she's beaten every woman in the locker room. Some fans start chanting for Rousey, as Bliss says Rousey doesn't count because Rousey isn't in the locker room due to her suspension. Bliss says after last night, Rousey should be suspended indefinitely. Bliss goes on about how Rousey was just in the crowd as a fan. Rousey appears in the crowd and comes walking down the steps as a fan cheer. Just like in Extreme Rules, she has a ticket. Bliss and Mickie see Rousey coming down the steps. Bliss quickly wraps up her promo and tells everyone to have a good night. They retreat up the ramp, but Rousey appears in the way of the exit to the back on stage. They run back to the ring and Rousey chases them. Bliss gets away, but Rousey grabs Mickey's leg and stops her. Rousey drives Mickie into the mat and goes for the arm bar, but Bliss and officials try to pull her to safety. They leave up the ramp, but Rousey charges and takes the whole group down as fans pop. Rousey brings Bliss back into the ring by her hair and rolls her in. Bliss tries to fight back, but Rousey drops her and goes for the arm. Officials try to pull Bliss out of the ring as Kurt Angle comes out. Angle says Rousey needs to calm down, especially after what she did last night. Angle says Rousey has just 2 days left under suspension and needs to go home to wait it out. Constable Barry Corbin comes out and says Rousey needs to be reprimanded for her actions. Mickie and Bliss stand by Corbin and agree. Angle says Corbin is right. He has added another week to Rousey's suspension. Corbin is upset because he says 1 week is not long enough. Corbin threatens to call Raw Commissioner Stephanie McMahon, but he left his phone in the back. Corbin tells Angle to keep this under control because he will be back. Corbin leaves and Angle pulls out his phone. Angle tells Rousey he will give her a match with Bliss once her stipulation is over, but if she pulls another stunt like this, the match won't happen. Angle adds that the match will be a title shot at SummerSlam. Rousey smiles and Bliss throws a fit on the stage. Rousey's music hits as she talks trash to Bliss. We get another look at Angle and Heyman earlier tonight. Colton shows us highlights from the first triple threat. We go backstage to Seth Rollins and Charlie Caruso. Rollins admits that last night wasn't his night, but tonight will be his night. Next Monday will be his night, and then SummerSlam will be his night when he wins the title. But he will have to face off against his brother, Roman Reigns. Rollins loves Roman Reigns, and hey, they are brothers. But Rollins has to do what he has to do if his road to SummerSlam goes through Reigns. Rollins believes Reigns would say the same thing. He walks off. Elias versus Rollins versus Bobby Lashley was up. It's still to come. Back to commercial. Authors of Pain versus Titus Worldwide. Back from the break, we go to the ring. Austin Payne comes to the ring. Akam and Rezar. Out next comes Titus Worldwide's Apollo Crews and Titus O'Neil. Apollo starts off with Akam. Rezar provides an early distraction, allowing Akam to hit from behind. Titus ends up going down hard on the floor. Akam clotheslines him on the floor. Akam returns to the ring, but Crews nails an Enziguri and a dropkick. Rezar tags in, hits a big full Nelson slam on Crews. By the way, there's no Dana to help them out tonight, as she wrestled earlier. Rezar yells out at the crowd for a few seconds. It goes to work on Crews in the corner. Cam tags back in, but they double team Crews with another big power move. They make another tag and continue to manhandle Crews. They hit the last chapter on Crews to cover for an easy win. After the match, Akam and Rezar stand tall in the ring as we go to replays. They pose together as the music plays while Titus and Crews are on the outside. We see Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan backstage walking. They run into No Way Jose's conga line and keep it moving. Still to come second, Logan versus Ember Moon back to commercial. Ember Moon versus Sarah Logan. Back from the break, and out first comes Ember Moon for the next match. Sarah was out next with Liv Morgan. They go back and forth early on. Logan with an early pin attempt. Logan takes control and sends Moon into the corner. Moon goes to the top, but Logan leaps and knocks her off the top to the floor. Liv watches from ringside and loves seeing Logan dominate. Logan brings her back into the ring for a pin attempt, but Logan mounts Moons with strikes. Logan places Moon on the second rope, works her over as the referee warns her, allowing Liv to nail a cheap shot. While he wasn't looking, Logan with a 2 count on Moon. Moon looks to turn it around with a counter. Logan blocks it and drives Moon down for a 2 count. Logan with an arm submission now in the middle of the ring. Moon turns it into a 2 count. Logan keeps Moon grounded again, and Moon tries to get out. Moon gets up, but Logan slams her right back down and keeps the hold applied. Moon gets free and crawls away. Logan grabs her, but Moon counters. They swing at the same time, but it looks like Moon connects with the most behind her punch as Logan goes wild. Moon mounts offense some more and delivers knees to the gut. Moon then stuns Logan with a big knee lift. Moon keeps control and drops Logan on her face. Moon knocks Liv off the apron as Sarah takes advantage and comes from behind with a roll up for a 2 count. Moon with a big kick for a 2 count of her own. More back and forth between the two. Moon then drop kicks Logan out of the ring. Moon runs the ropes and hits the suicide dive, sending Logan into the barrier. Moon brings him back into the ring for a close 2 count. Moon goes to the top again, but Liv has distracted her, allowing Logan to take advantage and bring her down for the pin and the win. Schoolgirl roll up with a little bit of hold on tight. After the match, Liv and Logan hit the ramp as Moon looks on from the ring with the fire in her eyes. And we see Elias backstage warming up with his guitar. That's commercial. Back from the break, in announces plug Wyatt and Hardy versus Raw Tag Team Champions B Team for next week. Number 1 contenders, triple threat. Elias versus Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley. We're going to the ring for tonight's main event, and Elias is out with his guitar. He knocks Buffalo and plugs his debut album that comes out on Tuesday. Elias reveals the name of the album, Walk with Elias. He talks about how he will be the Universal Champion and a successful recording artist. Elias starts performing his latest song, taking shots at Buffalo and tonight's opponents. Music finally interrupts, and out comes Seth Rollins. The winner of this match will face Roman Reigns next week to determine number 1 contender for the Universal Champion Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. As we go to commercial, as Rollins poses in the corner, back from the break, and out comes Bobby Lashley. Elias then attacks Rollins while he's watching Bobby making his entrance. Elias stomps away before the bell even rings. The referee checks on Rollins and makes sure he's able to go. Bell rings, and Elias goes to work on Rollins in the corner. Lashley comes over and stops him, mounting offense of his own. Rollins ends up taking Elias down on the floor. Rollins returns to the ring and goes at it with Lashley, while Elias is still down on the outside. Well, at this point, my brother even predicted spoiler alert, that he was saying Elias would get the pinfall loss. All right, Rollins takes Lashley down and keeps him grounded. Lashley fights out and takes Rollins down in the middle of the ring next. Rollins fights up as they run the ropes. Rollins nails a drop kick. Rollins takes Lashley to the corners now. Rollins charges but gets dumped out to the apron. Rollins fights Lashley off and springboards in, but Lashley kicks him in the gut. Rollins in with a big knee as Elias comes in and knocks Lashley down in the corner. Elias rolls Rollins up for a 2 count. Rollins counters a powerbomb from Elias. Elias comes right back with a knee for a 2 count. We see Heyman, Angle, and Corbin watching backstage on the monitor. Back to commercial. Back from the break, and Elias has Rollins down in the middle of the ring. Lashley returns to the ring and unloads on Elias. My prediction of the match, winner of the match is Lashley. Lashley with a big overhead throw to Elias. Lashley with a neck breaker on Rollins. Lashley nails a big shoulder to Elias in the corner. Lashley scoops Elias for the vertical suplex, but Rollins breaks that up. They go at it, and Lashley catches Rollins with a power slam. Lashley drives Elias back down. Again, it covers for a 2 count. Lashley waits for Elias to get up, but he rolls to the floor instead. Lashley follows, but Elias sends him into the ring post. Rollins dives out, but Elias avoids it. Elias then sends Lashley into another ring post. Elias brings him back into the ring and goes to the top. Elias hits a big flying elbow to Lashley for a close 2 count. Rollins comes out of nowhere with a big frog splash on Lashley, but Elias tosses Rollins to the floor and tries to steal the pin. Lashley still kicks out at 2. All 3 superstars are down. Elias gets up and pounds on Rollins. Rollins slides off of Elias' shoulders as they go back and forth. Rollins then nails a blockbuster from the second rope, but Elias kicks out at 2. Fan chant burn it down as Rollins focuses on Elias and climbs up top with him. Elias sends Rollins to the mat. Lashley comes in and climbs up with Elias now. Lashley goes for the super belly-to-belly suplex, but Rollins runs over. Rollins nails the buckle bomb to Lashley across the ring. Rollins runs back up the other side and hits the superplex on Elias. Rollins holds it for the Falcon Arrow on Elias, but Elias kicks out at 2. Rollins is down in the middle of the ring now. Elias stumbles around at ringside. Lashley is also on the floor. Rollins runs the ropes and nails a suicide dive to Elias now. Rollins brings Elias back in and hits a suicide dive on Lashley. Rollins comes back in with an enziguri and a sling blade to Elias. Rollins cranks up the band as the crowd chants. Burn it down again and cheers him on. Rollins then kicks Elias and hits the stomp, but Lashley breaks the pin just in time. All 3 superstars are down again as the referee checks on them all. Elias rolls out to the floor first. Rollins with a big forearm to Lashley. Rollins with more strikes. Lashley fights back as they trade big shots in the middle of the ring. Rollins rocks Lashley into the ropes, but Lashley turns him inside out with a clothesline. Lashley scoops Rollins for the vertical suplex and holds him for a few seconds. Lashley waits for Rollins to get up and calls for the spear. Rollins jumps over the spear. Rollins then rolls Lashley up for a 2 count. Rollins then kicks Lashley in the face. Rollins goes for the stomp, but Elias pulls Rollins out of the ring. Elias runs in the ring, but Lashley nails the spear. Lashley covers for the pin and the spot for next week's #1 contender match against Reigns, as I predicted. After the match, Lashley stands tall as we go to replays. Reigns versus Lashley is confirmed for next week. We come back to Lashley making his exit up the ramp. As his music hits, Rollins and Elias recover in the ring as Raw goes off the air with Lashley celebrating on the stage. As he's holding up his fist, ready for Reigns. And that concludes my results for this week. See you on another video. And if you don't know, just call me brothers and sisters, because I did not get any main event dark match results. Again, thanks again. See ya. Adios. Hasta la vista. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night.